Good morning, everyone. This is Yon Lucas with the Phase 6 update. I do apologize for not putting one out in the past 6 weeks. Weather has been a little bit crazy for me, and also end of season commitments for my daughter with her soccer program. So every time I've gone out to go do an update video, it was raining, and I'm not flying a drone in really bad rain. I can in light rain, but not high rain, not bad rain and high winds. So let's get started. So you're going to see from this video startups, some of the houses starting framing, sheeting, house wrap, roof covering, everything along that lines. You're also going to see some underground plumbing and, everything going on. So Minto is starting about between 4 and 6 homes a week. Now, those startups are being spread between Phase 6 and Phase 8. They are trying to get more started in 6 when it comes to the paired villas, but remember, they still have cottages they have to construct in Phase 8, and the single-family guys are still working on the single-family homes in the back of Phase 8. So that brings me to the next thing, build cycles. For those of you who haven't really had the conversation with me and are using this page for informative purposes, which I utmost, endorse and use it for informative purposes. This page is not only just for my clients, but also for everybody that lives in Phase 6, so that you can have kind of a construction update in broad strokes. So build cycles. The build time for build cycles is from form boards, which is when they put boards around before they dig footers, before they start underground plumbing. From form boards to final is an 8 to 10 month process, 8 being the shortest, 10 being the longest. Many different factors can affect that, 8, 9, 10 month window, that 3-month window right there. Weather being one, supply issues, economy, everything. I tell everybody that straight up. So from the time form boards went in to the time your completion is about an 8 to 10 month process. Aim for the middle. Many different factors run into that: weather, inspections, economy, tons of things. I tell everybody to be patient. So that takes me to my next point. So site visitations. I will be very honest with you. It's best if you don't go out to those job sites alone, number one. Basically because you're in a construction zone. If something happens to you, Mento's going to look at you and say, not my monkey, not my circus. There's no trespassing signs. We're authorized to be out there. We've provided our workman's comp, our air and emissions insurance, everything that we need, our state licensing. We can be out there on a regular basis, and we are. So when you're out there, you're more of a harm than a good, especially during business hours. Be aware. People are going to have conversations with you if they find you out there. If you need to go out to the job site, you can contact your salesperson, your building superintendent, or you can feel free to reach out to me. I can speak to, if you're one of my clients, reach out to me. I can speak to your building superintendent and or sales and or one of the project managers, have a conversation like, hey, they want to come out. They don't want to bug you guys. They just want to look at a couple things. 99% of the time, they're like, go ahead. I carry extra hard hats. I make sure nobody's going onto the job site in open-toed flip-flop sandals, which is a no-no. I make sure you have a hard hat on, and this is all for your safety, so please keep that in mind. Building supervisors. I've had quite a few people over the past 3 or 4 months, when they sign up with me, they ask me, like, what do you know about this guy? What do you know about that guy? I can tell you generally on the whole, building superintendents are really good guys, but they're having conversations with 7 different trades. With the different trades, you also got different crews on that trade. Then they're also having conversations with 12 to 18 different clients. Then they're also having conversations with 5 to 6 different town inspectors. Then they're having conversations with their superiors. Keep in mind, if you ever speak to a building superintendent and you may feel like, oh, I didn't get enough love, anything like that, realize that that's not generally their personality. The building superintendents out there are really good guys. Different personalities present different ways, but they all generally have the best interest of you at heart. They sometimes are a little communication skills are a little rough around the edges. They're in construction. They're not in sales. So take that with a grain of salt. I can tell you right now, I've got a great relationship with all of them. There are a few that we've had to work out how we communicate to each other. I'm with the building superintendents, I'm more of a face-to-face person. Because sometimes they can take things in a text. The written word versus a spoken word does not translate well. It's the best way I can describe it. But your building superintendents are really good out there. If you have questions about them, I'm more than willing and want to answer the questions for you when it comes down to that. But just realize if you ever have an experience where the building superintendent may sound short or may seem preoccupied, realize they're dealing with probably different crews, different subs, different inspectors, different town inspectors. They're having conversations with anywhere between 25 to 40 different types of trades, crews, inspectors, bosses in a day, and they're being pulled in about 20 different directions at any given moment. Next, I'm going to come into weather. Right now, we're in our best time of year for weather. Weather's pretty consistent, usually between April and May. June gets a little rocky with some winds and rain. July is the beginning of the heat and also of hurricane season. With that being said, hurricane season starts in July. August, September is really where we start seeing some of the storms ramp up. We haven't really been hit with a direct. We've been hit with some grazing blows, things like that. To go back in the history of that, over the past 7 years, I don't think there's been 1 year where we haven't had a shutdown at all, pretty much in the area with construction, whether it be Minto, D.R. Horton, Pulte, anything like that, where they kind of shut down their work for a certain period of time to prepare for the storm and to clean up after the storm. We haven't had a direct blow since 2017. Everything else has been glancing, nothing major. I'm one of those people is prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. May seem a little counterintuitive, but I always like to be over-prepared than under-prepared. So Minto kind of has the same aspect on it. So they're going to get everything tied down at the job sites. They're going to get everything prepared. The town of Hardyville is pretty much going to shut down inspections for a period of time, not just for latitudes, for everywhere. And they're going to see what may come of this weather coming up that happens at that time. Realize when the town opens back up, they're now backlogged for however many days they were shut down in latitudes and every other construction site that they are involved with. So at that point, it delays things out there. Just be patient. This time of the year, we're going to get rain, which is going to stop underground plumbing slab prep. We're going to get winds, which are going to do the same thing for roofing, house wrap, all that stuff. But it's nothing to be concerned about. I talk about this because of the timeline conversation that I just had with you at the beginning of this video. Build cycles, build timelines. I believe in what we call SMART goals. SMART goals is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. I live by that. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound is a very good way to live your life. I spent some time in corporate America, and we had two different varying opinions, SMART goals versus stretch goals. I am a SMART goals guy. I am not a stretch goals guy. I think stretch goals set unrealistic expectations, and everybody ends up being disappointed. So, that kind of ties into my next part, which is if you're building in phase 6, this page is for everybody. This page is for whether you're my client, whether you're not my client. I just happen to be the one talking on it. because this is the page that I created. I found that it's actually good for information. It's good to answer questions. The question that I always get is, should you hire a home inspector? I'm going to put it to you this way. If I was spending $500,000 to $750,000 on a home, and I spent anywhere, and I was going to spend money, I would spend that 0.5% of your home. 1% of a $500,000 home is $5,000. So I would spend that 2/10 of, or basically less than 1% of the price of the home on a home inspection. You're stepping over a penny. You're stepping over $1 to save a dime. You have to realize an extra set of eyes, documentation. That is what you need. What we do and what other home inspectors do is vastly different. My company, we're involved with the build from underground plumbing all the way through to the final. We walk the lots weekly. We send you updates out every 10 business days, and we work on your behalf from beginning to end. We are much more involved. That's a conversation that I like to have with people by phone. But all the other inspectors in the area are really good guys. There are a few that I kind of have some suspicions about, but the inspectors in general in Latitudes are really good guys. I don't mention my competition's name, wouldn't be prudent of me, but we're good people. A lot of us kind of talk to each other about what we see out there, just to kind of give each other a heads up. I've done all the inspections out there, which is over 1,000 in the past, I'd say 5 to 6 years. There's only been one house at closing that I found 0 defects, and there has been 0 houses that I have inspected for pre-drywall that didn't have any defects. And with our process, walking the lots weekly from the start of construction all the way through completion, we still find things at pre-drywall. We still find things at closing. And the reason why we do is nobody's perfect. And to expect perfection is an unrealistic expectation. The more eyes you can have on it, the more documentation you can have, the better off you are. But that's the end of my little diatribe of information. Sorry if I get a little long-winded on stuff. But I hope you guys all have a wonderful Easter weekend. Wrap your arms around the person next to you. Tell them you love them. Say hi to your family. Have a great weekend and have a great Easter. For those who had Seder, I hope you had a wonderful Seder dinner. And I look forward to seeing everybody at some point. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information will be right below here. We are picking up new clients on a daily basis, have tons of room. We're a multi-inspector firm, so we'd love to take care of you. Hope you guys have a great day and look forward to talking to you soon.